We are not doing any better. Does not look like. We'll stick with it for just a little bit. But I guess in the meantime, we'll just act like it's going all right. I guess welcome if you're tuning in. I'm going to start distributing this if anybody wants to watch. But I'm Chris. I'm joined by Levi. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
And we are covering Team O2R, Oval to Road, for the 24 Hours of Daytona. Looks like we're just finishing up the first stint here. We got Jeffrey Sykes in the car, currently running fifth place in the, fifth place in the class, right?
I show fourth currently, but pit stops are kind of throwing that off a little
All
bit.
right. So either way, doing pretty well. And you were explaining earlier, Levi, that we had a car kind of get into us at the toward the start of it, but ultimately not a huge deal. And I'm showing us up 2 spots total in the class. I don't know if that's accurate or what. Coming into it late, my overlay may be just a little bit off, but
we are coming in for his second stop. I'm pretty sure we'll have Jared, the driver switch here. So, kind of an active time right now. We'll see how it goes.
Very good. Well, let's see. You can see the switch happening there as car gets fueled up. Jared's hopping in. There is the swap, and we'll see if we can't get Jeff in to kind of talk about what he saw out there and what the experience has been like. This will be for me my first. I'm only doing one stint tomorrow morning early local for my local time, but this will be my first endurance team race here, and I'm looking forward to it. But you can see all the Le Mans prototypes out there going real fast, and I know Jeffrey's got a little bit more experience with that, but you know that's always one thing that you can go out and you can run solo laps and get real comfortable with the car, but you throw all these other cars that are purposefully faster than you out on the track there, and it just becomes a whole other thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was telling you before. It's been a very uneventful race for us. Luckily, that first bump that we got from behind was within the first 10 laps or so. Nothing but cosmetic, not even really that. I got a really close-up look at it. Luckily, you can move the cameras around, on iRacing and check that stuff out. But just a few scratches on the back end of the car, nothing major at all. The most eventful thing is the LMP cars. You just kind of have to run your line and let them go around you is what I've been told. I'm new to this style of racing too. I mean, I've watched it on TV, of course, but I'm just new to the getting in here and actually getting in the car. A couple of practices that I just jumped into to see what it'd be like. Pretty crazy. they gain on you so fast. Just different style of car and stuff. So.
Yeah, because you're used to watching your relative and all that, but you're right. The closure rate is kind of what gets you when you're all in the same class. You can kind of see it come in and plan for it, but you just got to kind of flip a switch in your head and know that 5 seconds in a similar class and closing is much different than an LP2 coming down the pipe at you. So. Yeah, from what I understand, the concept is you maintain your line and hopefully they go around. But I will say, I do get on the iRacing Reddit every once in a while, and it's fun to see. There's a lot of finger pointing going on. It seems like the GT drivers kind of point at the LMP drivers and vice versa for who's at fault for a lot of those rear ends. But
it's almost as bad as like a rivalry or something, It's always their fault,
Right. Yeah, there seemed to be an uptick leading into the 24-hour race. I got to imagine that that had a lot to do with it. But either way.
Yeah, we had a little bit of excitement even before. I don't know if you want to touch base on anybody who didn't know about it, but was it a 4-hour delay? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess we should touch on that. I guess iRacing's servers, and I saw the technical explanation, or well, at least the dumbed down technical explanation about how basically everything timed out because it was taking their system or whatever to load everybody into the session. I forgot how many thousand people signed up, but they're having issues. And ended up it was a 4-hour, right? Yeah, overall delay.
Yep. I heard it was 6,000 plus tried to log on to the session at, what was it, the session for it was set up for 9 a.m. I think Central Time.
Oh my God. Uh, yeah, that's I mean, good. It's a good problem to have, I suppose, in theory. But yeah, there was some upset folks for sure. It looked like a lot of people kind of moved work schedules around and stuff like that to be able to participate. So yeah, naturally, if things don't pop off when you expect them to, it kind of throws a wrench. And our team actually had to do our own little kind of rework last minute, and luckily it worked out all right. But um,
Yeah, because unfortunately we don't get to do this as a sole income, and this is our main job, so where you can just sit around on, in the pits and the paddock for 4 hours and then just start and everything goes kosher. We got lives and different things, so everybody had to move it around, but we're doing a great job so far. I think we got our schedule set. Um, Pretty professional, actually, I have to say, for a bunch of guys just getting together to do this. They do a dang good job. So
yeah, and for anybody who hasn't done it before, the amount of planning that goes into it is actually quite mind blowing. It's not like, hey, we got whatever 3 to 5, however many drivers that want to do it. We actually have a spreadsheet. I think it was developed by the one of the guys from Sunday Night Skipping, actually, quite a while ago. But it's a multi-tabbed Excel spreadsheet that lists everything out from, you consider relative lap times, fuel, consumption, basically converting everything from GMT to local times, so everybody's got their own schedule ready to go. They know when they need to be ready, and when their stints are going to be. So, because that's the other thing to remember is, we're all, for our team, we're spread across the U.S. and Canada, all the way from the East Coast to Western Canada. So, yeah, I gotta take all that into consideration as well.
yeah, that's one of my biggest deals was, if somebody puts a time up and you automatically think it's your time. I don't know why. I just do that. And then you're like, whoa, that's not going to, that's not, I'm not going to be able to make that or whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, and then, just like Norman, he was, Norman King was, he's not racing, but he's going to engineer. He's going to be trying to be here for the whole race. And then, life got in the way. So he's going to be showing up here. Um, I guess later on tonight, this afternoon, this evening, I'm not sure whenever he can get away from work. And I was kind of filling in for a while, but we do a really good job. These guys do a good job of overlapping drivers to try to help out with driver changes and that kind of stuff and updating information.
Yeah, that's a great point, though, because that is the support role there, the race engineer, if you will. People, Norman, yourself, but yeah, especially Norman's going to be pulling some graveyard shifts, trying to help out with that. And so it's not just people driving, it's other people that are hanging out and helping out throughout the entirety of the 24 hours. So there really is an undertaking, and we're just I would say, fairly amateur team. I hate to label us. It's maybe not fair to the other guys that may disagree, but there are some folks who take this very, very seriously, and just doing this as a fun thing where we're going out there and still trying our best. Don't get me wrong, but there's people out there who take it way more seriously than we do, and it was still a ton of work. I know in the back end for a lot of the guys who helped organize it. So.
Well, it was like you're doing a short stint, or not a short stint, but just a single stint. And then I was supposed to, I was going to try to do a single stint here or there, but I mean, I just wasn't up to par in the car. I tried. I mean, just the number of setups that we had, they were trying to tweak it so it was best for everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody worked together, even on the setup of the car. It's just one of those things. I just went out and drove it. My times were just not competitive enough. I'm kind of new to road racing, so I'm trying to get into it. And when you're new to road racing and you're 2 or 3 seconds behind everybody and it's not getting any better, I just kind of backed out and was like, I'll take a side seat roll, kind of set through one, and kind of go that direction, because I was just not there. So it does take a little bit. You got to kind of know what you're doing. Like you said, it's a fun group. They're having a good time, but at the same time, you want to be competitive. We're all competitors. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Only I was like, screw it. I'm still gonna try it. So,
oh yeah.
I hope it doesn't come back to bite me. But my goal is just to keep all 4 wheels on the asphalt and keep it headed the right direction. And I think in doing that for a stint, hopefully I can add some relief and won't hurt us too bad. But yeah, it's you're right. It is intimidating, especially when you first get in there and I don't have a ton of experience in the GTE cars. More of a GT3 guy on the road, if anything. And it kind of drives a little bit like a boat when you do a little bit of a comparison. So it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little more. It felt really tight to me. It's
Mhm.
like it never really wanted to make the corner. You had to make it make the corner, kind of feel. But yeah, see, this right here is where I'd have an issue is just following around that car there, and then an LMP gets involved, so you lose a little track time,
Right, right.
and it'd be totally frustrating to me at this point. I'd be like, I want to get around that guy. So it's a different mindset. It's more you're racing the time, and you're racing yourself more than you're racing the guys on track for sure.
Well, I want to bring. Looks like we've got. And actually, I gotta jump up for just a quick second. But if any of you guys wanna chat about, I don't know, just anything. We don't really have a plan here, but you keep chatting. I'll keep it rolling for just a second while I jump up, and I'll be right back.
So Caboose, you in
Hopefully
here,
you
bud?
guys. Hopefully you guys can hear the chat in the sim.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants that on his YouTube channel. There's some language going on in there.
I'm good with it, so this is just entertaining to me.
Oh,
Looks like we got a whole slew of prototypes. This ain't gonna be good if Jarrett tries to go for it.
yeah, I think his YouTube channel, it seems like it's a little bit behind what I'm actually seeing on track, which may just be normal. But looks like he's backing out a little bit. That's good.
Jarrett just absolutely just blistered those prototypes through that corner. I know they had the outside, but dang.
Was Jeffrey saying anything crazy after his stint?
I don't know. I was asleep for most of it.
Oh.
I've done that a few times. It's fine. No, the big thing for me is I was hearing some conversations while I was asleep. I was just passing in and out. We might be ditching the Fuel Map 5, and if the driver prefers to, if the driver's been running.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, so we're still broadcasting. Hold on.
Oh,
Actually, yeah. Let me jump back in because they were actually having a good talk.
They'd be ahead of the schedule here. Come to the end of the race, which is good. It's just rough because you really can't tell where you stand on track because we're kind of off on pit strategy compared to everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, so
But I mean, it's
sorry,
good
real
problem to
quick.
have.
I jumped out at the exact wrong time, and I should have just texted Antonio and let him know. But I can't jump out of the audio without and keep the broadcast going. So you guys were talking about the Fuel Map 5 when I jumped out, and I feel like that's a really cool discussion. So sorry to make you do that, but can you go back and chat about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, Caboose,
Yeah.
you take that one, bud.
Yeah, so while I was passing in and out, I had my stream pulled up on the side where I was over in the driver's area, and we're talking about possibly ditching the map 5 to 6, but that's more down to driver preference. Jeffrey feels like he's a top 5 car speed-wise if he goes to Fuel Map 1. Jared feels comfortable in Fuel Map 5, so it's just going to be down to driver discretion as to what they want to do. With me, depending on how the fuel tacks up, I might run Fuel Map 3 just so I have that little extra bit on a straightaway. If it saves me a lap, sweet. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
How many different fuel maps did y'all set out for this race?
We were planning on just sticking on 5 to 6. 5 switching to 6 towards the tail end of a run. and get an extra couple laps out of that. But at this point, we don't know if we'll make up enough with our fuel save strategy. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's what me and Chris are talking about. It's just a different ball game, the endurance racing. You know, you're not really looking for speed right now. So you know, so much as just keeping it clean and racing against the clock and that kind of thing.
Yeah. We also did get a little bit of damage early on. It was very, very minimal. I'm talking like if you're not looking for it, you ain't finding it. But
yeah, I touched on that because when it happened, I actually rolled around the car and I was going to try to say something if need be, you know. But it, like you said, it was so minimal. I mean, it's barely scratching the back, is what I seen. I
Yep.
don't think anything was damaged for the car or the performance for sure. So I was like, I'm not even going to let Jeff know that it even happened because it was so minute.
I did. I told him there's very, very minimal damage if there is any. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna head up to the driver's chat, and I'm going to dip.
10-4, man.
And then there were two.
And then there was two, yes. Antonio came in and then left without saying a word. I'll have to get on him about that.
I know. We got to get it. I want some analysis here. We were talking about how not boring, but we were focusing on Jeff there, and it didn't look like he had any cars around him. And every time I look at Jared, he's got a swarm of cars around him.
Yeah, there was part of his first stint, right middle of first stint for Jeffrey, where race had just started. LMP cars were pretty tight, and it got pretty hairy there because a couple of the fast guys went out front, and he caught those in good places and everything. And then it seemed like maybe 5, 6 of them all at once, just all the corners you didn't want to catch them and this kind of stuff. But he did a really good job of keeping the car clean and keeping out of their way, and they did a pretty good job of keeping out of his way. Of course, they're trying to race too, and that's kind of the weird part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's been following this Porsche for a lot of laps. He almost caught him there for a little bit. Like you were talking about, the LMP cars kind of get around you. You don't want to push it too hard. Jeff was saying something about the sun in his eyes in a couple of the corners earlier, but luckily it was only for about 3, maybe 4 laps, and then it kind of started subsiding. So the joke was made that we forgot to put the sunglasses in the car, which I think was said to be my fault. So
yeah.
I had one job, and I faltered.
That's a shame. I like the get some Ray-Bans in there on the next driver swap. Well, actually, now I guess we don't need them, but whenever the sunrise stint is, I'm sure they're gonna want it then. That actually may be mine, to be honest with you. I gotta go look at what my new stint is.
Yeah, new stint ties, huh?
Like I don't know if it. I gotta verify if it changed the actual in sim in race time or a little thrown off.
I was gonna say it would be nice to know kind of what the track's gonna be like. Crazy thing is, I don't know why, but I'm used to racing at places where the track temp dips a little bit more as the sun goes down. Start at 75-degree track temp, set at 71 is what I'm showing. So that's not even really a change enough to make an issue, which is a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But the track time should get a little bit quicker, I think, when the sun completely goes down in the night here. I don't know if you have in-sim audio on your feed, but there's been a few cuss words already thrown out there here and there, some frustrations.
I have that strategically muted.
Yeah, good job.
we unmute it by exception only, but yeah, it's usually the case, especially when people don't know that they're being recorded. It's
Yeah, I think there's some things going on here and there, and then you got some other languages even, so you just never
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah, looked like their guy Jared's following locked it up a little bit. Turn one, honestly, is the one. I don't say it's the toughest. I just it's tough to find a consistent uh, flow to it for me. It was one of the tougher ones, one of the tougher turns at least, and that held true. I remember going here, and I don't think I ever ran an actual race, but I did some practice laps when I want to say Xfinity or Cup Series was here in iRacing, and I do feel like that was about the same. It's just
Yeah,
that sweeping turn that.
It's a sweep and turn. It kind of falls away from you.
Mhm.
You're coming off the oval, so you're, not max speed, but I mean, yeah, you're max speed. You have to almost get all the way to the wall and then take the car, all the way to the right as far as you want to get a good entry, and then you have to take a hard left, and it just feels like it's fighting you the whole way, all the way to the end. Finally hit an apex, right, and then you can actually take the corner like you need to.
Yeah, I always hate being too hyperbolic, but yeah, it's an interesting turn. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and then the one that got me was the one after pit exit, also.
Yeah, actually, yeah, surprisingly, for Daytona Oval, it's not a very technical track. Obviously, you got the chess match with draft race, pack racing, but the road course is actually, pretty decent, all things considered.
Yeah, especially, these ones that are ovals that they, put a road track inside later, afterthought. It's a really good setup one for that. Not saying anything against Charlotte Roval. It's a good track and all, but there's not much an elevation change or, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, you kind of go out there.
Not one of those purpose-built, road circuits sort of thing.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, it looks like Jared got around that Porsche finally. And he's doing pretty good.
I think you jinxed him there. He actually just had an offing.
He did. As soon as I was saying that, I just kind of like stopped. Now, we're not going to say those things again, ever. So he's doing a great job. It's been on course, and we're doing great. Everything's awesome.
We have all been there.
What's up with Antonio?
Oh, managing everything. It's fun. Lots of fun. I think we're working out a new strategy for the fuel map because I don't think the map 5 strategy is going to be the ideal strategy now. I think we're going to switch it up to map 3. Just because you can see, you could see with the Porsche, he was in the draft, but he wasn't really doing much just because of the lower fuel map. So we're thinking we're going to run a higher one and sacrifice the extra lap because we were getting 2 extra laps. So we're going to just try and shoot for getting 1 extra lap now instead of 2.
How's that going to play out towards the end of the race? Is that still going to put us on a good pit strategy as we thought we was going to be, or?
Well, looking at the sheet, I think with the 2 extra laps, we would still have a full stint at the end. So Jared would still have his full final stint. We wouldn't have the extra one. So now we're probably going to look at having to pit towards the end there to get that extra few laps in. But we'll have to see how it plays out. I guess it all depends on who wants to run what fuel mapping, because I know that I will probably still be running the 5.6 just because it's more comfortable, but we'll have to obviously see how it plays out.
Yeah, me and Chris kind of touched on it before, how everybody got together and tried to set up the car together and try to do what's best for everybody and still have speed. All that stuff. I mean, heck, it went all the way down to, I saw y'all were trading off brake biases and stuff so y'all could help each other out, getting in and out of cars and stuff like that. Just a team. It's more of a team sport for sure when you're doing this kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. The team aspect really comes into it when you're participating in these types of events.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Especially
kidding.
when somebody's commentating and makes you run off course because it jinx you. No. So I guess this LMP that's coming off, is this the one that was off the track in the bus stop? Is that correct? Or
That's looking like the same car. Not too sure. But he was looking sketchy with that rejoin, I will say.
yeah, it had me worried.
Yeah, right now I'd say the biggest thing is to just get through and try and see if we can survive, you know? Because I feel like probably by the time we get close to the halfway point, we'll start kind of getting a rough idea of where we're going to be once we start, once people start wrecking out and once we, like, kind of get a feel of where we're at. We'll see, you know, the potential of where we could finish at. But the main goal is just kind of keep her on track for right now. We'll not worried about speed right now, at least till, you know, the last couple hours, right? You don't want to be pushing for no reason this early in.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. I guess Jeff was kind of one of our quicker / more conservative, you know, keeps it on track kind of drivers. Is that why we kind of picked him to start out? He's the most comfortable in the car, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Jeff's, you know, he's definitely very good at being conservative on starts and keeping it, you know, alive. He's not the type of guy who's going to go make a crazy bold move to try and, you know, make a crazy position change off the start. But I do think for sure he was probably our best choice to start off the race. I think Jared's our more aggressive driver, so he'll be a good person to finish off the race. So that's why we picked those two and put those two in those positions. But yeah, to start us off, I think those two both running a couple stints is, I think, our best bet for starting. And then we got, you know, myself and Steven as more of the filler drivers in the middle, as well as Chris.
Yeah, I was trying to debate whether or not earlier or later in the race was better, and I came up with reasons for both. But I figured by whatever I'm at now, the second or third to last stint, we'll have a general idea of where we're finishing, which could take the pressure off, but could also place it on if we're still doing really well. So it could come back to bite me.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, biggest thing, just, you know, we got to just keep her on track for right now. This is a very, very good split in comparison to what we were prospecting it to be. So I think as long as we keep it on track, you know, I think we can pull off a top 5. We'll have to see how it goes, but I'm glad for sure that we got the higher split. I like the competition. It's good. I don't like winning lower splits. It's no fun. I think racing people and actually winning something that has a lot of competition is a lot more meaningful to me. So I'd much rather finish 5th in this than win a lower one.
Well put.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that for sure.
Yeah, the Jared had posted the stats earlier. Had we made it into a session the first time around? I feel like he posted some strength of field information. I gotta go find it now.
I believe the first round in practice he posted the strength of field, but I don't recall what he said for the split. Oh yeah, here it is. So GTE split, we're looking, the average I rating is 2161, and LMP2 split is 1754. So we got some lower end LMPs, but
it seems to be doing okay. But yeah,
yeah, I know for
that's
sure.
usually the concern, right? Is not necessarily who you're even racing against, but you get lower IR folks in the faster cars, and they quickly become weapons.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we're usually not even in a split that involves LMP2s. Usually we're that low down, but I guess there were so many that registered this year because, you know, the new LMP2 car is probably a big factor in that. And 2, just the influx of new members this year because of COVID and everything going on. It just made the LMP2 split massive, so we usually don't even see them. So now we have to worry about them. It's definitely a factor that gets played into the race.
Yeah, and can you verify my numbers from earlier, Antonio? You might know, but I heard there was some like 6,000. Was that right? That tried to enter this morning.
Yeah, it was 7,000 drivers. I don't remember the final number, but 7,000 was about what it was right before we were going into the race session. So that's insane because I
Yeah,
think last year was 3,500. So
yeah,
that's crazy.
it's really a bad deal that it crashed, but it's a really awesome deal that we have that many people that's involved. You know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the community this year is just doubled in size. It's ridiculous what COVID did. So many people picked up the new hobby. And I mean, it's good to see. It gives everybody some more competition. I mean, yeah, sure, we got more people on the lower end of the spectrum joining, but you know what? Everybody's got to start somewhere, you know. I'm sure in the future it'll make for some very competitive middle split and top split racing.
I'm simultaneously surprised and not surprised by how iRacing has kind of taken off. You know, of course, you don't want a global pandemic to be the reason why, but it kind of, I think, the forced, not forced, but, you know, people gave it a shot who maybe weren't willing to prior to that. And it's just, it is good to see that many people being like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty cool, and joining in, and yeah, once there's going to be that bell curve of abilities, and not to say that I'm any sort of specially good driver or anything like that, but um, yeah, once people get some races under their belts, and you know, another year from now, even maybe a little shorter than that, I anticipate that my public races are going to become just that much more difficult, which I think is a good thing. And you know, to your point, I'd rather have stiff competition and get a top 10 in a public race versus feeling like I didn't even have to work for it and get a win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just puts more meaning into the race for me. I just feel like winning a split where like there's not many drivers that are, you know, on the same skill level or higher skill level than you. It's just not, in my opinion, worth it. It's not like, it doesn't feel achieving.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not much for participation awards.
Do we know anybody else in the race? I meant to look through the names. I don't know if we just by happenstance ended up with anybody we know. There's a lot of folks in here though. There's 54 drivers out on the track right now, which I think that may be partially why my computer is struggling so bad right now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if there's anybody we know. I know in our practice split we had someone from League Zero in there. His name was I think it's Inigo Rogers or Roger, something along those lines. I can't remember his name. He's brand new. He actually just joined. Inigo Roger. Their team name is IR Team 22. So I'm not sure if they're in our split. I'll have to take a quick browse through, but they were in our practice. But I do know for sure we do have a lot of people from League Zero participating. I know Russell's got in a GT3 team, so he's probably way up there in the splits.
Right.
And then someone else mentioned that they were running a P2, but I can't remember who it was.
Unfortunately, I think Marshall from our Camping Universe League, I think his team fell apart a couple weeks ago. So I don't. He was planning on it, but I don't think it ever came together.
Yeah, no, I think they folded, unfortunately.
It's tough. It's tough. You know, I think that just goes to show how impressive it really is that we had whatever 6,000-7,000 folks register for the race, because to get somewhere between 3 and 5 people to sync schedules over a 24-hour period is tougher than it looks.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You just have to have a really good planner like Antonio.
That's right.
We'll go with that. I don't know about really good, but how about organized chaos? We'll go with that.
You get the job done so far, right?
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
We've got a plan. We rolled with the punches when it came to a reschedule. he got us all figured out. So I really appreciate that. I liked having it's fun to think about just kind of rolling and being like, yeah, okay, we'll just figure it out on the fly. But in practice, that just doesn't really work. So that spreadsheet she got all put together, and just coordinating all the times and the handovers and stuff like that. That's half the battle right there. Holy crap! Yeah, there's way more work that goes into organizing the thing than just sitting in a car and running laps for a couple hours at a time. That's the easy part.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm not going to take all the credit. You know, I did the schedule. I know Jared helped me a little bit with it as well. But Jeff was pretty big on getting us the setup and all that we needed. And then, of course, kudos to everybody else who put in practice. We were there. We did a lot of practice, everybody. And, right now, so far, they're killing it on track. I know we had a minor hiccup. But other than that, so far, everybody's been doing great. So kudos to everybody, not just me.
So do you know what map that Jared be running right now?
I believe he's probably on 3. I'm just going to look in the car and see what I can see.
I think Caboose was saying he was on. That was the last direct message I got from him. Was that he was on 3?
Yep, he's on 3.
Yeah, let's see. Can I see that if I go in the cockpit? No.
Yeah, I'm just spectating. My stuff is way limited.
It's all 0.
Yeah, it won't. I don't think it'll show you the info for like the sake of somebody copying everything you do. Probably be pretty cheeky if you could go spectate other people's cars and see what map they're running.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We'll try that next year. I got you.
There you go.
I have to infiltrate every team that's 7,000 plus people to.
Well, the sun is finally set and
Yeah.
the lights are on here, so looks like we're gonna be getting into the evening here. I mean, sure, it's not really the evening yet in real life for most people here, but for me, it's 1 p.m. But
it's not too different. It's certainly later in the race than it is here on the East Coast, but
yeah, no, for sure.
Sun's getting low. Sun's getting low.
I'm curious to see how many. I'm curious how many times that Ferris wheel goes around.
Or how many planes land?
Yeah, I know. Crazy here in Daytona.
I wonder if the planes actually stop landing between certain times.
Now that'd be interesting, actually. I didn't
mean,
quite think about that.
In the iRacing, if they put in like the quiet hours.
Yes, Daytona, Rolex 24 quiet hours.
I don't know how busy that airport typically is. I mean, obviously during race weekends, I'm sure it's littered with private planes, but I don't know what plane they have in iRacing landing there, but it looks like a not a regional, but more substantial than a Gulfstream.
Yeah, maybe the view that I've got, but I don't think I've seen one yet today. But like I said, I've got a different view going on right now, so maybe I'm just missing it.
Got to bring up, instead of the battle box here, I want to see if All right. I think that worked. So you can see there the lap history between Del News, who is P11 for our class. You can see that Jared's got a good second to a second and a half on him for the past 5 laps.
Yeah, he's tracking me down pretty good there.
So we're currently sitting at 3.84 seconds or so. I think he's going to be well within the crosshairs here shortly, which is good. I mean, shoot, getting those green flag passes there going to be huge. It's being on all completely different lap strategies. There's no way I can even follow that when we're talking about trying to project, where that might, lead to us being at any given point. But you can tell Jared's got a ton of pace compared to. Oh boy, that LMP2 came really close. Ton of pace compared to the competitors ahead of us. So good that he's making up that time. And look at that. He is. I'm trying to get the intervals here. Yeah, he's already knocked off nearly a dang second since that whole it's just me talking. So Def Del News doing lap times more along my lines than Jared's.
I was going to say, I think they're both running faster than I was in the car when I was in practice, so good for both of them.
I mean, to be fair, they are our 2 fastest drivers. Then Antonio, then me, then you. But you and I aren't far off when you're digging.
So it looks like of the cars on track, the I rating for the GTE class is 1853. And the P2s are 1637 for the current drivers on track.
Out there right now.
Blue Corvette in front of us for position, or is the Porsche?
I think the Corvette, but I think the blue Porsche might have had back wing damage. I'm not totally sure about that, but it looked like he had a little bit of on the right side of his back.
Yeah. I'm showing
I know that.
Corvette that he just passed as P19, so he may be.
All right, so yeah, the highlighted Porsches are target then.
Yeah, the Vet was not for position, according to my JRT. That Porsche is, though.
And then pretty much every other GTE from here forward are going to be for position.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's shocking to me how Jared is cornering with the LMP2s there. You brought it up earlier, and turn 5 there, I think it was. But he's still doing it there. They're getting the acceleration off, but I would thought the prototypes had much better cornering speed than the GTE, but what do I know?
The higher speed stuff they do, but in this low speed stuff, they're caught up on the outside. We have the optimal line. We're almost dead nuts even.
That keeps it interesting. Real world, they have the qualifying race. You right, or is that tomorrow?
I know they did tests today.
Thought they were doing the because it's the first. I was reading again, just being new to all this stuff. The first time ever they were having a race to determine the starting grid, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Something else interesting is third place in class just pitted behind us.
Oh, there you go.
Well, at least now you can keep tabs on them.
Ooh, boy.
Oh
Guys.
my gosh.
Really wants to get around Jared.
Oh, and he pushed it too hard.
Looks like he got a little
Patience, my
too
good
antsy.
Yeah,
Womp
patience,
womp.
my good sir.
See, that's the worst though, because now you've got a guy that you know how he's gonna try to get around you, and now he's gonna do it again.
But angrier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be crossing my fingers,
Yeah.
as it were.
I'm sure
you
he
know,
took a nice
on the
deep
oval.
breath and is now calm and relaxed.
Yeah, his name's totally not Kyle.
Because that is a good thing about the Roval setup, especially at Daytona here. There's plenty of passing opportunities on the oval section.
And then we got Lamar.
And then exactly. I'm hoping, because we've got a little one on the way. I wanted to try to do the Bathurst one, the GT3 race, which is single class, I think. So I guess not as big of a deal, but Bathurst is that'd be a tough one to do multi-class endurance on, I'm sure.
I mean, there's still plenty of respect to be earned from that race. Just with how much that thing can easily chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah, I mean, doing just normal races there, kind of not lucky, but you got to put the work in. You can't just wing it. That's for sure. Well, I'd say the sun is pretty much set.
I was going to say, yeah, it's about completely set, I would think.
I'd say she's gone, girl.
Fifth place is in the pits.
There you go, just like that.
Got estimated 7 laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should be pitting in here pretty soon, 6 or 7 laps.
If he's got what it takes to get the next spot before he does that. Oops, check it out there. Huh. All right. Gonna be. Fredrickson had a pretty bad lap 94.
Ferg Ferguson.
Trying to check out where. There we go. Yeah, Jared's quick.
How many times does he run into the cars ahead?
He's gonna go in. All right. Well. So what? We got 6 laps left.
Yeah.
Jared's still putting down 141s here as the track cools down.
I believe that's the highlighter Porsche that we were fighting for position for.
I'm showing third and fourth in class is doing their driver swap now. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I love
I'm
that.
definitely big in our pace on Fuel Map 3.
So how much time or laps between the Fuel Map 3 and then the 5-6 strategy? We're talking a lap per stint?
Yes, 1 lap per stint roughly on Fuel Map 3 versus Fuel Map 1. And then on Fuel Map 5-6, we get an additional 2 or 3. Oh, prototype spun behind us.
Yep.
Yeah, on Fuel Map 5 or 6, we gain an extra 2, maybe 3 laps, just kind of depending on the driver. In a long play, could 5 and 6 help us? Yes, but at the same time, we can't fall back so far. So
Right.
3 is a good compromise. What I might end up doing is just kind of depending on how my first shift goes, and how I'm feeling after those 2 stints, is I might actually map a fuel button or dial to my wheel, and it might actually just do a little bit of alteration. Run Fuel Map 5 in this area where we're cornering, and then Fuel Map 1 and just blast down the straights. Or Fuel Map 3 and then use 1 as a push to pass, if you will.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna step out here for a few gents. I'll see you guys hopefully in a bit here.
Sounds good.
All right, see you tonight, Antonio.
Later.
So Caboose, who's up after Jared in the car?
If memory serves, it's going to be Jeff and Jared until about 10 Central, 9 Eastern. Or, sorry, 10 Central, 11 Eastern, if memory serves. And then I hop in the car, and then it's me and Antonio for a while, and then Chris gets in at some point.
Early morning when nobody's paying attention.
There you go. That's the best time, right?
Exactly. Nobody watch.
Everybody's either still asleep or they're just getting coffee. Nobody's paying attention.
Strategery.
Caboose, why are you doing a 6 dinner? I'm not. I got out of the car. When? You know. That one time. All right, let's see what the difference is between Jared and 3rd place in front of us. 3rd place in front of us, he is about to hit the start-finish line in a moment. Now. And we're on the banking of turn 3 or banking of turn 2?
Yeah,
banking
coming out of
turn 2.
2. Yeah.
So we're definitely going to pass him in the pits.
And from y'all's experiences, does it seem like there's more incidents and stuff during like the night part of the race for some reason?
Sometimes it really depends on who you're racing with. Sometimes there's actually less incidences at night because everyone's just like, okay, time to be afraid.
Yeah, they're all on their best behavior, so to speak.
Yeah. And then you get me. I would love to be racing right now in the nighttime. I love racing in the night at a track that I know. Because that's when I'm like, "Ugh, let's go." So, especially here when it's well lit.
That Porsche is not for position, I do not believe.
He was before he pitted. I'm just trying to figure out why did it take him a minute and 30, or sorry, minute 40 to do a full pit cycle. I thought a full pit cycle was like a minute 10.
That full extra bathroom break, I think.
I wonder if we got any guys in here that's doing the 24 by themselves.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they don't get anything for it, but they get to just say, "I completed the 24 Rolex 24 by myself," and then get disqualified by iRacing.
Right. I was gonna say.
how many driver swaps do you have to have before it becomes official?
You need 2 drivers, and I think one driver needs to complete 25%, if memory serves, at least.
Yeah, I've tried to figure out the logistics of one person doing it for 24 hours, and it's just mind blowing to me.
Wake up 5 minutes before the race starts and register.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Hello.
I was gonna say hot mic.
Can I get some?
What time, man? I'll be over. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll be over in a little bit.
Got the good stuff too, I think. Nice. Oh, we got Wahlburger burgers to make. Oh, look at that. Marky Mark.
And the Funky Bunch?
That's not even a thing over here in Oklahoma.
I did not.
I've
I
seen
did
them at the real uppity places.
not know Marky Mark was selling hamburger meat at grocery stores. I will admit.
And it's not even him, it's his brother.
Oh, it's his brother. Okay.
Not Donnie, but the other one.
The the other.
The other one.
I know that narrows it down to half the brothers, but still.
Awesome.
Patrick, I think his name is.
Probably like Larry.
I'm like 78% confident.
Oh,
Come on, Jared.
got it.
A little off track
He's
there.
got it.
We got it back on. We got it back on.
Yeah, I'm like 78% confident that it's Patrick. He's the one that owns the Wahlburger restaurants.
I think somebody's talking about it before. The back of the Corvette, this new C8 Corvette, actually does look like it's damaged already from the start of the race. Just the way they got that back.
All right, Jared's pitting with 0.4 estimated laps remaining. That's pretty good. Oh, we got an early pit stall. We're like 6 or 7 pit stalls in.
Yeah, that
Keep that in mind.
that's good to know.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pop
Especially
over real
with-
quick.
Especially with 0.4 laps left or whatever. If you miss it, you're toast.
I was gonna say the that's early enough where crew chief doesn't even start the countdown until you're past it.
Yeah, all you hear is start looking for your sign, and that's about it.
And he's away.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that they have the I don't think they're switching tires in between stints. They're putting a new driver on fresh tires, I think is what the plan is. I know that's what Jeff did. I'm pretty sure that's what Jared was going to do too. So
Yeah,
just doesn't have much degradation here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Saves you quite a bit of time, and it's I don't know 100%, but it's got to be somewhere between the like the Skippy, where you could run those things for 24 hours on one set of tires, and stock cars like NASCAR, where you take tires any chance you get.
All right. So, by sounds of it, what we're going to be doing is it's actually what I was talking about for a moment, and that is run Fuel Map 3 and basically use Fuel Map 1 as a push to pass.
Interesting.
Yeah. So as long as we're keeping it within the new scheduled fuel window of 76, I think it was, we're good.
Did Jared try that with this last run?
On the last run, he was alternating a lot just to kind of see what the car does. But for this stint, he's going to run 3 primarily, with 1 being a push to pass. So this is definitely the stint to watch for.
10-4.
Why my battle box is showing initials here?
Yeah, so Chris, I'll leave it to your discretion as to how you want to do it. You can either run Fuel Map 3 and be that little bit faster, and then set a toggle to go to Fuel Map 1 if you need to pass anybody. But otherwise, you're probably good just sitting in Fuel Map 3 and calling it a day.
Yeah, it's I'll probably still do. I have it mapped anyway, so I'll have the option. But the goal, like I mentioned before, is just to be consistent, and if an opportunity comes up where I happen to be faster than one of these guys, then it'll be good to have. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Just keep the car alive.
Yep. Exactly. What are we sitting at right now for? We're sitting at 17 off tracks.
I think so. 17 incidences out of 100, which is
Or I guess incidents, yeah.
which is not great.
Did we get a... Was that a 2 or a 4X, that initial where our rear end got?
Let me go back and take a look. Four.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It sounded like a heavy hit. It, as you could tell, it did basically nothing. But
Yeah, it's shocking that it's only a 4X. It doesn't look like dang near anything, and clearly the car is driving all right, so...
Yep. Okay, that's not what I was expecting that prototype to do.
Just keeping him on his toes.
Trying to figure out which TV camera I like.
Well, I was liking 2, and then I went to 3 whenever it was coming time for pits. I could actually see like pit entry or exit when the car was going around. I could see it almost all the way around there.
I tried using one. One's not bad for a lap or two, but I feel like camera 2 and 3 are better for broadcasting. 3 just has that much wider angle.
Yeah, I typically stick with 3 and then 2 for sometimes. But yeah, TV1 just always seems so zoomed in that you lose perspective. I mean, it's cool if you like got a cool paint scheme you want to show off, but that's about it.
Feel kind of bad for these guys. You're not going to ruin all their progress. It's not, even if we just keep it on track.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it. Whoa. Too off.
Oh yeah, no, that's less than ideal. I went back and took a look from Chase.
Well, while we watch Jared in the swarm of prototypes here, I'm gonna hop off for just one quick second. We'll do a little bit more broadcasting and then and take a little break. We can go grill, but
Also
why-
get some sleep.
How does that GTE flashing his?
Seen it happen a couple times. I'm wondering if it ain't the only way you can say, "Hey, buddy, I didn't like what you just did there." I mean, there's a middle finger, but it is at night, you know.
Yeah. I like it.
I know after you pass somebody, if you flash the lights, that's usually a thank you.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey, Levi, what do you think of this POV?
For some reason, yours locked up. Give me a second. That was pretty nice. I like that. A little off the back fender.
I'm
On
going
the
to
stream.
clean it up just a little bit so we don't have that clip in on the right. There we go. Not as much clip. And you can actually see over the left side of the car a little bit.
Yeah, let's go. Been following this Porsche for a while now.
I wonder if he's used his push to pass yet.
I don't know, because you think it'd be really nice once you get up and on this oval right here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's a watermelon car again.
Watermelon Man?
Watermelon Man.
Okay, I was fully expecting him to just send it in there. Whoosh.
Oh. Wonder if he ain't using something, because he really gained right there.
I think Jared's in engine map 1.
That's crazy. Oh, that's real sketchy.
And
I
we're
missed
back.
it. What happened?
Oh, and LNP kind of went off track there. He's still beside us right now, but yeah, he went off track into turn 1 a little bit to the right. And it was just you could tell he's probably in Jared's blind spot there for a minute. You know, you don't know if he's coming back on track hard, you know, fast as he can, or if he's just going to try to ease it back. But avoid, good to go.
Things feel very calm right now, all things considered.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of lockups earlier, like in front of us, you know, this and that, just different cars doing different things. And I was very surprised that everybody kept them straight, that many lockups, you know. I was a little bit anxious. I haven't seen as many now going forward, at least around our car.
Definitely one of the more well-lit tracks, at least.
I do not like how that prototype's blinking in and out of existence.
Oh, yeah, on mine, he's gone, and then I didn't even know he's there. I wonder what Jared's seeing.
I thought maybe he was blinking his lights, but nope, he's just there and then not there.
I messaged him. God dang.
Did you see that catch up?
Oh, yeah. I had the best camera angle for that. Fortunately, I don't think any of those spots in front of us are for position. Yeah, Ferrari's got a little bit of wang damage.
So. Or lockups, holy crap.
telling you, I just jinx everything. I need to just not stop. I need to stop saying stuff.
Yeah, the
Say stuff and things.
Stuff and some things and some stuff. Yeah, earlier when Jared went off, I was talking about how, or I think it was Jared. He went off on the turn 2 or something. And just right after, I had to say how we've been very clean and uneventful, and then I was a little off track, but wasn't anything big. But I was like, okay, that's enough of that.
and we're done. Yeah, I'm showing we've got about just shy of 25 seconds to Benia there, but they're doing a pretty good job of sticking anywhere between 0.3 and 1.3 seconds faster per lap. So it may be a bit, definitely has the pace, but that's how far ahead E6 is at the moment, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, depending on how you're looking. And that is third place in class right behind us now, huh?
Yep. I'm reckoning if Jared was in Fuel Map 1, they would be running very, very similar times, but...
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing to bring up is just the patience involved with running these endurance events. Kind of trusting the process and the plan. But it's easier said than done once you get in that car and you're racing other drivers. There's just something that, at least for me, kind of just takes over, and it's tough not to want to battle for every turn, every position, etc. You really got to think about it.
Well, I can vouch for that. You can ask my tires when I'm running the old stock cars.
Yeah. But, yeah, depending on how this breaks down, this could just come down to a final pit stop. No matter how we cut it, we're all going to end up with an odd lap out. The question is, who's going to have to not stay as long? We're averaging a lap more than him per stint. Does that mean when we come in, we only need to take 5 gallons of gas? Or do we time it out right and to where we don't have to do that at all? But likelihood of that is slim since we're no longer doing the fuel map 5 to 6.
Yeah, the Corvette has not been able to pull away from him for sure.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's Jared's giving him all sorts of fits there. I don't know if he had smoked it going into turn one. I thought Neto had kind of gone a little bit more clear than that, but
Yeah, this guy, he's having a little bit of issues being consistent. He's running quick, but having issues with consistency at the moment, at least. Anybody know what the class leader is driving?
what kind of car?
Yeah.
He's in a Corvette as well.
Alright, cool.
I think we're Chevy, Porsche, Ferrari, Porsche, Chevy. And Jared is right there once again. All that traffic though, that's gonna shuffle them all the way through. That's you can see.
Oh, there he went.
Was that third place?
That was third place, yes, sir. And I'm pretty sure it made pretty good contact with the wall.
Huh.
Let's
And this is what it's down to, keeping the car clean. I'll
do
be
a
back.
quick replay here of.
I don't know if he got in the wall or not. For my screen, he's looking pretty clean.
Just a little bit of a love tap there.
Yeah, we went by full speed. It looked like he got it pretty good, but I think I was wrong on that.
Well, almost as if he had called it the consistency thing. That's run all the fast laps you want, but
Yeah, you got to be there at the end for sure. Nope, there we go again.
Oh man. That was P16 in class, Greg Chandler, so not as big of a difference. I'm getting some crashes here, though. I'm just going to run through some replays on our event list here, mix it up a little bit. Oh, man.
All right. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see any damage on the 6.
Is that the third place guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think he was clean. He didn't make near as much contact as it looked like in real. From the view I was watching, Jared, it looked like he was going straight for it, but Chris said it looked more like a love tap. So.
Actually, you know what? Why don't we replay it from the cockpit view. Oh, or not. There we go.
I
Let's
told
try
Jared
this.
if he does have damage, it's not registered for us, but we'll see if his car blows up here in a few laps.
LMP right there. Got pretty good contact to the rear there. I think
So
it'd probably
here-
make more damage to it. I would think at that.
So just as a heads up, I'm going to dip here in about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, we could probably wrap it up for right now. Like you said, in 5-10 minutes. We don't really have a plan for what we're gonna look at and when, but yeah, I'm maybe some other time tonight. Obviously tomorrow morning after my stint, and just kind of cover. This ended up being the Jared show to some extent. We just happened to be able to be available during his stint. I'm sure he's not complaining.
Jared with a dash of Jeffrey.
Right, yeah,
Oh.
just a little splash.
So I don't know if Levi told you, Chris, but you have the ability to move people around. So while I'm away, if this channel is going to basically be empty, put me in the paddock with the drivers. That way the stream can at least pick up some sort of conversation.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I guess I could just leave it up for a bit, and even afterwards, make sure that whoever is in here is either muted or not, or over in the paddock. People can come in and commentate as they wish as we go. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're just doing this for fun and really cool. I think it's just a neat other perspective to be able to watch yourself, run and race from that third person point of view and have a bunch of people talking about things that they know nothing about.
Yeah, I've got excitement. I'm not even getting in the car today, or tonight or any time. I'm not getting in this car during this race, and I was excited about it. I was here at the start. I kind of get hyped up about it. It's like I said, it's a neat deal to just kind of see it unfold.
You got hyped up about it, and then we had to wait 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that the big adrenaline rush. Everybody's waiting for it, and then nope, can't do it. Sorry. I'm glad. To be honest with you, though, it seemed I'm not an IT guy by any stretch, but the fact they went from like we don't even know what the issue is really to being able to put the session back up, and not only that, but apparently have 1,000 more people try the second time around, which honestly was astonishing. I thought for sure it would cut down after the failed attempt. You would imagine people would be like, okay, well, this isn't going to work with our schedule anymore. We're out. But
yeah, I was kind of surprised by that too. And then you start thinking, well, maybe the last one started at, and maybe y'all can verify, but 9 p.m. last night. Is that correct? Give or take. Central
Something like
Time
that.
is what I'm on. But anyways, maybe some of those guys wrecked out over the night, and so they got to looking at the forums, and everybody's going crazy on the forums. They're like, you know what? Let's give it another shot. You want to try again? I don't
Look
know
at
if that is
that.
the case, but
That's actually a
that's
really
it.
good theory. I like that.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can think, because I don't know who else would just wake up and be like, oh, I haven't missed the 24. Yeah, go ahead and try it now. Call your buddies and jump in. It's like a multiplayer match on PlayStation. We'll just all jump in real quick, get in a party chat, and we'll race 24. I don't think that's how it goes down.
How hard can it be?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute out my mic and everything like that. I'm going to reset my stream. And like I said, when you guys are ready to bail on this channel, move me up to the paddock.
Sounds good.
10-4. Thanks, Caboose.
And keep me posted on what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's even weird when you just, you're like, well, I guess I could leave it up.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different style of everything. I guess there's nothing hurt there. We're still gonna have cars on track for sure.
Exactly. I mean, it's not going to be super exciting to watch, but that being said, that I guess that's being a little optimistic about people wanting to listen to us talk
Yeah,
constantly.
there you
So
go.
maybe I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. The actually, let me look back real quick. I'm gonna start when I get the accident notifications. I guess I'll just start clicking on those too. Not to you know point anybody out specifically, but it's kind of interesting because there are things happening out on the course, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, from our point of view, our drivers so far with Jeffrey and Jared, they're keeping it really clean. They've had a couple of almost close calls, and I don't know if I don't want to lay it on luck. They're doing a good job.
Yeah, they for better or for worse, it's not good for broadcast TV or stream, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's good for the team. That's for sure. I like boring. Boring is good. Slow, consistent, and I'd say that I mean it's a strong both Jeff and Jared obviously very strong drivers, and so I think that was obviously the right choice to start out the team and kind of set us up because not that the other guys, including myself, are not, but I think we'll have a really good sense going into the evening, kind of where we stand. Because if these two guys can't get it done, then we're really screwed. But it's good to just get off to a really solid start with a low number of incidents. The incident number itself, I think, when you look at it, incident per hours, maybe a touch higher than we originally wanted, but we're certainly not in danger territory yet, or even caution territory, I guess. And you can, I'm just by watching here for however long we've been broadcasting, you can tell both Jeffrey and Jared are just been real consistent. They're not getting spooked by the LMP2s, and just really holding their own and having a really solid result so far.
Oh yeah. I would have probably bailed on a couple of them at this
Right?
point when I saw them coming, but they
I
just
mean,
kind of like just keep on cruising through.
just even a couple of the replays that I've shown so far of other people going off track, you get it. You get it. They just kind of lock it up or bail or get spooked, and I hope I don't have a situation like that when I'm in there, but there hasn't been anything that I've looked at that I've been like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. It's all very understandable and relatable.
Yeah, there's been some really good, like you say, it's really good racing as far as I've seen. Like I said, I've been focused on one car, but it seems like that's the gist of what's going on. And we've seen some of the same cars a couple times too. This course that we just went around here.
Yeah. Yeah, they so far appear to be having a rougher night than we are, but that's the other thing too. This is really the only GTE I've ever really driven. I have a little bit of time in the BMW just because I bought it right when it came out. But it doesn't look like anybody's driving that one, or that's not even in here. Maybe is that even an option? No, there's a BMW. There's only one.
Is there one in
BMW.
here? A
There
Soul
is.
BMW?
Yeah. Yeah, P22 in class is a Serge Garceau. It's Serge. Yeah, but that's the only other one that I've ever driven, and I know that just from listening to other people talk, different cars will have, similar to GT3s, just depending on different factors. Whoa, man, that LMP2 got really close to that yellow car. Certain cars will have different strengths when it comes to the type of track, whether there's a lot of straightaways like here at Daytona, or it's a more technical course.
Oh, that's a bad place. That's a
Yep.
bad place for him to push it right there. That LMP, they're come on, man.
Man. Oh, now he's getting the flashers.
Yeah, that wasn't a good place to make the move. He could have waited. He's got so much power. I've seen him, right around that last corner, that pit wall's there. If you get clear of that, they can clearly make it. That's a push you don't want to do this early in the race.
Yeah, he's probably feeling a little desperate. Maybe that team is sitting down in 24th position right now in their class. So
yeah, he's trying to make some moves.
There's only 27 in the class. Yeah, that's tough. That's for all the calmness and patience we've seen so far, that is not a great example of that. So I don't know if I want to call that broadcaster's curse, but
we've had a lot of that today. Yeah, I don't think that should have done too much damage to our car. I'm going to try to get some different views here and figure it out, but
I don't know why I stick to the TV ones. This is after all, I do have the capability to see.
Yeah, it looks like left rear's wrinkled a little bit from what I'm seeing, but hopefully it isn't driving any different. Like I said, I haven't been around these cars enough to actually be able to know kind of how the damage. I'm kind of used to stock cars.
What right looks like.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. The back of that Corvette looks, as soon as we started the race, as soon as it pulled off the truck, probably it looked
like damage already.
Yeah, it looks like it's already been rear-ended to me, but
yeah, I don't know. Looks all right. I would imagine the damage model is such that the rear wing would start taking on a little bit of angles. Wrinkles. Yeah, wrinkles if you.
Because I've seen it on the Porsches, I think, a couple times, and maybe a Ferrari. So
Jared's probably not too happy at the moment after all that, but
yeah, and that's another thing. Guys cut you off, and this and that, or like that little incident you had. It's like you got to keep your cool. I don't know if I'm made that way. I need a little more practice at that, I think. And Jared was nice enough to come over the radio and kind of tell him how he felt without, being too vulgar. So that was nice of him. That was nice of him to keep it PG.
Well, I mean, that's you can get yourself whatever that was going through that other driver's head. Clearly, we need to avoid that because you can. It's really mental, especially once you start getting deeper into the stints. The physical act of driving is one thing, but yeah, you get one guy pushing it too far in a place that you don't find appropriate, and that can really stick in your head for a little bit. You don't have a lot to think about and distract you. So things like that, when something happens, it's very easy to focus on that instead of your marks and all and whatnot. Not to say that's what Jared's doing right now, but certainly there's just another aspect of it that I don't know for folks who don't race very often or at all. It's just it's easy to say that you would never do that and get focused and distracted on something you shouldn't, but man alive, yeah, when you're 2 hours in, especially you want to think about early this tomorrow morning, and some of these guys doing 4, 5, 6 stints of this. Tough. It's tough. I consider myself lucky. 2 hours tops. That's not that outrageously different than a normal race for me. Just happy to be part of the team, but these guys are going to be putting in many hours, many laps.
Yeah, and just for anybody just tuned in or whatever the case may be, they They've got it sounds like it's going to be the two people, was it Jeff and Jared kind of back to back to back, and then they're going to swap off with Caboose and Antonio back to back, and then it looks like you're going to kind of the breaking point, I think, between those two groups to give them both a little bit of rest. Is way I took it when Caboose was explaining it. So
Yeah, it seemed exactly right. So like almost like tag team, swap it out for another tag team, and then I'm kind of the reset button before the morning. The last couple stints there.
yeah, and Jared was really excited, hoping everything goes correctly, and we see this car at the finish up there in the top. But yeah, he was really excited because this will be his first finish to one of these races. He's been in a couple of 24-hour races and 6, the endurance races, different types, and I guess he's never really got to bring it across the finish line. So that'll be pretty exciting for him. If and when the time comes. Only reason I say that's because we jinx so much other stuff. I'm not jinxing that. If and when.
If we're lucky
everything
enough.
Goes right, and we are there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that I got to imagine, having been through that a couple times for him, he's well more aware than us, the importance of just keeping your calm, keeping your cool, and just putting the laps in, even if something happens that is disagreeable, because ultimately everybody puts all the practice in, all the work in, all the planning in, and it can end in an instant. And I got to imagine now that this is what you said a couple times before this, that he hasn't had a chance to cross the finish line, and hopefully I can help with that.
Yeah. Hopefully, in the morning when no one's paying attention and Chris is in the car, nothing goes wrong. Everything should be fine, but you just never know. I'm not jinxing anything. I'm not saying one way or the other.
That's right. You're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. to broadcast, yeah?
I can if you need me to, man. I'm in for the long haul here. Like I said, I'm trying to get my feel of kind of this endurance racing before I actually, I planned on being on this team. Actually, the original, and I think you were in on that too, is we were actually going to try to put 2 teams in this thing.
Yeah.
Kind of an amateur team and then a pro team, so to speak, in quotes.
Right.
Because I'm lower than amateur, but I was going to get on the amateur team. But and we're going to have one guy in there with us that was more pro, just to kind of keep our feet on the ground, so to speak.
Right.
Keep us settled. Things didn't happen. We combined it into one team, and like I said, I just didn't feel like I was up to par at this time. But I would like to do one of these at some point. It's a really cool, different way of racing for sure.
Well, to me, it's just another, with the broadcasting thing, the way that I've always explained, is just another way to enjoy the subscription. Like, I'm paying for it anyway, so why just stick to the public races? I probably I don't know if it's a fault, because there's really no right answer, but I'm the kind of person who I like to do a little bit of everything. I'm going to be the jack of all trades, master of none when it comes to racing, and I'm okay with that. I don't focus on one car. The league that I help run and broadcast for got a lot of guys who drive the Skip Barber Formula 2000, and that's it. And that's what they like to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And they're really, really, really good at it. But me, I'll run some, endurance GTE, fine. I'll do some Xfinity, some Skip Barber, some Indy Pro. Like, I just want to experience it all. And the endurance racing here, will be my first time. I, just like you, just want to check it out, see what it's like, be a part of a team. That's one of the things that I really like about it, is that team aspect. You're in it with other folks. Even though you guys are all internet strangers, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, you really don't get that feel anywhere else. We got different teams that we're on. I'm sure you do. I know you do. Like the Camping Universe Stock Car League that I'm in, and the F3, League Zero, open wheel league that I'm in. Kind of like you, I started off with stock cars. I love watching road racing as a fan. I like watching road racing more, especially open wheel F1, that kind of stuff. But to drive it is a complete different story. I know more about driving a stock car, so that's why I started off there. And like you said, kind of getting dabbling and everything. But you can have a team on a stock car, and when the green flag drops, you kind of have strategies you kind of pass back and forth, but it's nothing like the team aspect in endurance racing.
Right. Yeah, it's more of a group chat aspect than a.
Yeah, you're talking, and hey, what lap you coming in? Well, I think I'll wait a couple of laps. I mean, this is literally you're at the mercy of everyone else that's in the car at the time, and then you're trying to feed them information. And then when they get out of the car, they're trying to feed you information to know what's happened, because you may not have been sitting here watching for the last 20 hours, so.
Yeah, the accountability to each other is something I like, and like you said, it's not just a nice to have, that communication piece of it. As a hey, we're gonna have a Discord channel that we chat during the race. It's a necessity that you pass on what what happened, what what you saw, and yeah, it's just it's a cool, different way to experience iRacing outside of just your niche public race that you like to do, and
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, Jared's still running some pretty competitive times here.
yeah, his last lap, I think, is still faster than my fastest lap.
Yeah, that was I couldn't even get within 3 seconds of their time, and that was pre them, kind of making a car a little bit more, I don't want to say loose, but, faster.
Right.
Not as conservative. They kind of, and so that's when I was like, guys, I'm literally just going to hold you down. I mean, you start adding up 3 or 4, maybe 5 seconds on laps. I wasn't consistent either. That was my problem. So I just need more time with the car. Wouldn't believe how much just seat time, literally. I know it sounds simple, but it really is. If you just get in there and just go around, you get used to the car, what it's going to do, and then you can start pushing your limits more.
Yeah, no, agreed on that. That was my biggest thing. It's the GTE here, especially the Chevy, is just so unlike the other things that I've driven before. I mean, it's I've got the high downforce open wheel kind of experience, but like I said, jack of all trades, master of none. So I'm not particularly great at any of this, but I at least have done laps in them. But it's so it's not a high downforce open wheel car. It's not a stock car. It's kind of somewhere in between there. And even the GT-ish series, my main experience has been in the GT3. So the biggest obstacle was just finding time to get in the seat and just do laps. So yeah, we're getting a comment there from Ian on YouTube. It's a boat. That's kind of it's kind of how I felt. But to your point, with the setup that they started making it more competitive, getting the rotation through the center of the corner and all that, and feeling a little bit looser, it's an odd feeling to have such a large car that feels like a boat, but is still rotating very efficiently through a corner. Like it was, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, it feels like nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I literally, and when I say dabbled, they got some free cars on iRacing, that you can take advantage of. I think that was a Kia Optima or something, front wheel drive, just a lot slower. Oh no, LMP car. I think he's high centered on the curb.
Oh,
unless he just went into he's towing now. Wow, that's unfortunate for that LMP car. Did you see who that was?
I'm not seeing
I can't see the name. It was in that turn after the pit exit.
No, I don't think this was it.
He spun. I think he was trying to come back on track and got high centered on the curve, and then he has to tow, so that's going to be like a minute 40 or something. Well, sorry, I cut myself off there. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find it myself.
Danny Reeser, I think. Oh. Oh. Yeah, you got stuck. Let's see. I think we've got it right here. Yeah, trying to pass on the inside. Oh, yeah. GT got into the back of him.
Hmm.
Waiting, trying to be polite and safe. And boom. It's not funny. Oh, I feel terrible.
It's not
Oh,
funny
no.
because it's funny because it didn't happen to you, right?
Oh, man. Can you imagine what's going through his head right now as he's doing that? Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
But yeah, going back to the, the different style of car, because like I said, I race a stock car, which it does one thing, and it's you kind of get it, figure it out, and you just work around it. And the F3 car is the first open wheel car that I really raced on here. But getting into this Corvette, it's a weird feeling to say the least.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Jared now here. There we go. Yeah, just getting laps under it. How are you liking the F3, by the way? So I'll preface it by saying I've been trying the Indy Pro. I thought I'd like it a lot better than I have, but the car and I just don't agree at all, whatsoever. And in testing that I've done, I found the F3 to be much more, I won't say fun. It's very subjective. It's all subjective. But I've really enjoyed the F3. I'm looking forward to getting into the League Zero races and doing that.
Yeah, fun. Fun for me is forgiving, where you can actually kind of get a little bit, rowdy with it, so to speak, and not have to worry about it just leaving you, from underneath you. So, yeah,
Sure.
that's how I felt about it. You can push it past its limits, it'll let you, if you get on the throttle too quickly, you may end up swapping ends or any of that stuff. But yeah, it's really fun. The league is really good. We've got a good following. Was kind of, it's first year, and so I was kind of afraid that we weren't going to get a good following. I think whereas Barcelona and then Monza, I think we had 22 entries. So that's a really, really good turnout, I would say, for first year. We're real happy with it. But yeah, the race setups kind of, I like it a lot. First race in Barcelona, I got, taken out towards the first of the race. So I didn't get much of the first race, but we do the 20-minute, what they call, feature. And then we do a 10-minute sprint afterwards. So even if you're out the first race, you wait around, you get another chance at it kind of thing. But yeah, it's a fun league, fun car for sure.
And I think that goes a long way, the folks that you're driving with. I think maybe more important. I mean, you still got to enjoy the car for sure, but I think the league culture and the attitudes of the drivers it's a large part of the equation for me, at least when it comes to leagues that I want to be a part of and race in on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and I really liked it. I don't know if it's just because it's open wheel and it opens us up to more. Besides Antonio in our stock car league, I think he's about the only one that isn't from the U.S. But we've got a guy from Pakistan, we got some guys from UK, got a couple of Canadians, a lot of U.S. It's kind of neat to see all that, and that we come together. There's different skill levels too, because I'm in the lower to mid pack. I mean, I'm hoping by the end of the season I can be racing for mid pack, but I don't mind it, just so I got someone to race. It makes it fun. And so there's some guys at the back that I've already been around. We kind of know we're going to be racing each other. So kind of learning those people and knowing how they race and where to take advantage, or whatever the case may be. But
yeah, I think the week to week races where and I know some of the public races have the same kind of dynamic where you end up racing the same people all the time. I'm thinking kind of the Indy cars, Silver Crown, stuff like that. But having a league where you really start to get to know each other. It's to some extent it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, you can have run-ins with the same people over and over again, which of course nobody wants. But at the same time, I think that all of us, we're all human beings. You know, we're all adults at the end of the day, and you gotta. Um, some people don't really get it, end up getting it, but those people usually get filtered out anyway. And at the end of the day, you can still have disagreements, but know what you're getting when you're racing next to somebody. And I know, like, specifically you and I in the camping universe, I think we've had some pretty good battles throughout the past 2, 3. Gosh, how long has it been now?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think I've been part of that league. We did, I think, 2 years of trucks, and then 3 years now, I think, of the Xfinity cars. I think it's
Holy
my
cow.
5th year, maybe. But and that might be wrong by a year or two. But yeah, it is a super competitive league. You know, you got to be on your A game, and I'm not yet. You know, I've been in 5 years, still got a lot to learn. But yeah, I'm getting there. You know, and that's the deal. Kind of like what Antonio said earlier about he would rather place 5th in a top split than win a low
Right.
split. It's kind of the same thing. I'd rather keep shooting. If I get a top 5 or in our league, I feel like I won the race. You know,
Right.
top 10 is a good day. So if it was super easy and I could win every one of them, I don't think I'd have near as much fun. And like you said, you know the guys you're racing with, you know who you can push or who you can't. You know, you got to give a little bit of room. Or
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I think for the most part, especially in camping universe, it's most people, and I'm not even pretending to think specifically of anybody right now, but um, there's very few people that I wouldn't be comfortable racing alongside, uh, you know, on any given lap in any given situation. So I think that makes it a lot of fun. I've been the uh, unfortunate person in some incidents, and I've also been the cause of some unfortunate incidents. So I think hopefully it all shakes out, and I think for the most part, people are willing to give each other a little bit of slack because we've all been on both sides of the coin.
oh yeah, and then on just different note, when you do the season races, I mean, you wouldn't be able to get a team like this together where we all race
Right.
at Camping Universe together if you're doing official races. I really think hosted races is where you're getting the most bang for your buck, in quotes, out of iRacing, honestly. I mean, these special events, don't get me wrong, they're their own thing. But if you're just going to set in the official races the whole time, it's not near as fun as, like you said, getting into a league and actually sitting in there for a while and not getting upset about the first time something doesn't go right, or
Right.
fill it out and give it a chance.
Nice.
Yeah, I know that was some
Just
sketch right
3
there.
wide right there.
I don't like it at all. Yeah, it looks like he's got one more lap, I think, and he will be coming to the pits. And will be driver change. Is that correct?
I believe so. So let's do this. If that's the case, we'll see if we can't get Jared in to come in and talk about uh, what the stint was like, and then I'll either leave the stream up or we can take a pause. Here we go.
Oh, he's coming in right here. So that is one lap early compared to what they have been doing, but I mean, that's not a big deal. I don't think it's a 24-hour race, but be curious to know what happened there. They change up, Yeah, it looks like Jeffrey's going to be in the car now. He'll get a new set of tires, fill it up, and hopefully get all his brake bias set to his liking, and he'll be back out there again. I think that's the major thing when you get in the car is the brake bias from driver to driver. Seemed like it was a little bit different.
Yeah. So I know that's a pretty big deal. It can make a huge performance difference, but it's one of those unique things where you can, even on fixed setup races, right? So for folks who are potentially watching who don't do iRacing, even when you do fixed setup races where pretty much everything is the same, everybody's racing the same car, they still generally allow you to change the brake bias, which controls how much of either your front or your rear brakes are sharing that load of the stopping power, and it can make you faster, but it's also super driver specific. It's a comfort thing, and that's why they make it still adjustable even in fixed setups, because there's no necessarily right answer to that question of how much brake bias should you have. It's just kind of your style and what you're comfortable with. So that is
Yeah.
one thing that we have the setup for the team, and that was set at the beginning based on countless laps of testing. And Jeffrey Sykes, I think, was the mastermind behind really dialing that in, but with the feedback of all the other drivers. But we still in car can adjust things like the brake bias and the fuel map. So basically, the more power of your braking goes to the rear, the looser it's going to be. So in an extreme example, you hit the brakes and your car just kind of spins around. So that's really loose. So you don't want to do that. But on the other hand, if you go too forward, you block up those front brakes or front tires, and the car doesn't turn whatsoever. And that's the other extreme example. So finding that right balance for you based on how you like to brake and your brake curves and all that.
And it looked like, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was going to go back to, it looked like that pit stop took a little bit longer than usual, so maybe we're getting that damage fixed for the long run, get it fixed now, and then we know what we kind of got going forward, but maybe Jared will come down here.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that side swipe from the prototype we got, added to the damage or not.
Yeah, I'm looking over the message board now. He's kind of giving some info to the other drivers. It looks like might have changed their setup a little bit from what they think they're gonna get out of the car. Laps wise, I don't know if I'm making much sense there, but when they're doing the different mapping, it sounds like that it changes how lean the engine runs, this and that. You can save a little bit of fuel by running slower times, and not sure. I'm not probably the person to explain that in technical terms for sure, but that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, the idea going into it, as I understood it, was we save a little bit of fuel, so we're going to go a little slower, but we're going to save some fuel, and ultimately that's going to save us an entire stint worth of laps. Not an entire stint, but basically eliminate a last shortened stint for a particular driver. And obviously the lower amount of time that you spend on pit road doing pit stops, the better. But yeah, I'm seeing what you're seeing here is where our plan is not going according to plan, or what's happening is not going according to plan.
Yeah, Jared just got in here. Maybe he can explain that a little bit better, the engine mapping. And man, Jared, good run, man. Had a couple of close calls. Did a good job.
Yeah, it was fun. We had 2 LMPs, kind of scare me a few times, but other than that, everything else is going according to plan. So
I was looking at the engine mapping a little bit. Oh, sorry, Chris.
No,
sorry,
yeah,
Chris,
that's exactly what I was going to do. We were trying to basically give for folks who are watching who aren't GTE or endurance or whatever professionals who don't have to deal with the throttle mapping, kind of explain like I'm 5, and basically even more specific to what our plan was going into it versus maybe what we're seeing right now based on the real world, testing of the plan. So we were trying to basically relay what we were seeing on the Discord, but it might make more sense for you to just talk about
it. Yeah. Well, the higher fuel map, so like from the fuel map goes from numbers 1 through 12. The higher of a number means like the slower the car can go because you're using less fuel. So just for example, we looked at earlier during practice and stuff that if you use fuel map 1 out of a bus stop, you'll reach about 187 miles per hour going across the start-finish line. If you use fuel map 5, you only go like 184. So you lose a little bit of time, especially on the straights, but it doesn't let the wheels spin as much. So like out of the corners, it's going to save the rear wheels. Out of the corners, you're not going to slide as much. Traction control will not have to kick in, and when it does, it's going to be very light, so it's not going to be acting really strange. So the higher number, more fuel you save. The strategy going in was Daytona is a weird track that you burn slightly more fuel than 23 pit stops. Because you plan on pitting one every hour, but Daytona is like every 56 minutes you have to pit. So at the end of a race, there's going to have to be a tagged on stint of like 10 laps or something to end it out. We thought we can change the fuel map to 5 and be able to disintegrate that stint by running 2-3 laps extra per stint. So that's why like we've been pitting so late compared to others that like the leader currently is on 14 lap old tires, or 14 laps on their stint. We're only 4 laps on their stint, so we already saved 10 laps of fuel. But by looks of it, we're not earning enough speed. We're going about 42 flats to like 42 fives while trying to save that. So I went out and did 34 laps, which might still make it, might not. We'll have to see on how that ends up playing. But I was doing faster lap times. That's the only reason I was able to go up from 12th to 5th or whatever it was. And so
that's going to get
explains it.
Yeah, that did a good job. So that's going to get you more competitive times to get you kind of caught back up on track time, I guess.
Yeah. So doing a pit stop or saving a pit stop would be about 40 seconds in total on track time. If we can earn half a second per lap we have a remaining 700 laps, so half a second per lap for 700, that's what, 350 seconds you overall gain. I think that's kind of, I'm not too sure enough if my math is correct there, but it seems like this is probably going to be a strategy to do.
Yeah, I always like speed over everything anyway. So, but yeah, you did a good job, man. That one LMP got into you. How bad do you think that hurt the car? Is it just cosmetic?
Yeah, it seemed like it was cosmetic. I mean, directly after the incident, maybe 1 or 2 laps, my tires were overheated. So I was sliding around a little bit more than usual, but right at the end of that stint, that's not good.
Ooh,
boy.
Right at the end of the stint, the tires came back and they were doing perfectly fine again. So it's cosmetic. We only had like 16 seconds of optional. I believe we fixed it. You don't really even see it anymore. So.
Well, I can tell you this much. I may be biased, but he could have waited till that next corner and went, I don't know how many of them passed you right past that pit wall. Just wait till the pit wall, and then, you get out of the way, let him take the inside. But I don't know why he was pushing so hard right there.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I said, I'm biased, so.
Yeah, exactly. I went over radio. I know I shouldn't, but I went over the radio and I told him that if you waited literally 2 seconds, I would have let you go, and neither of us would have gotten hurt. So. I don't know what his issue was. He's like 26 in his class. That's basically last, and he was laps down compared to us, and he's in a faster car, so something was definitely wrong with that team. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Chris had made that same comment, that he was down the, and maybe he was just getting desperate.
It was frustrating to see, just because it looked like everything was pretty orderly up until that point. It kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest with you. Just watching it, it seemed like you had a pretty good rapport with the other LMPs out there, and people were being pretty patient. But yeah, I don't know, man. You handled it well, and one of the things we talked about, kind of related to that, was the fact that it's easy to let that kind of linger in your brain, right? And you get just one kind of goofball who doors you for no reason, and then how do you? Oh, sorry.
I mean,
we've got some screaming children here. How do you maintain that focus after that, to just kind of be like, all right, that happened, but there's still 20 hours left in this race, and
You kind of just answered there. It's 20 hours left in this race. I mean, it happens. You can't fix it anymore. Check the damage. In this case, it wasn't bad. I thought it was more when I first hit because that was a pretty hard hit, and what it felt like at least. But it's not bad damage. So if we got it fixed, didn't seem like it lost us too much time, if any time. So if we can keep up the speeds that we've been doing, I think we're on pace to get another P4 finish like I've personally gotten in like the last 4 Daytona races before. So if we can get that, I'll be happy at least.
I think the fact that we've got correct me if I'm wrong. I was trying to look back through the messages there, but with the reset of the times and the delay that happened, we ended up in a split that was a little bit higher, potentially, than we would have been.
It definitely is, yeah. The team I rating was about 1600, something like that, and the overall through all 58 cars on track or that were on track teams, the average was 2000. So, and the GTE class alone was an average of 2160. So, we're definitely facing a higher split. I mean, it's better because you never know that if we were in one lower or two lower, how many of these LMPs I had two LMPs. The 159, he kind of diamonds the first hairpin, and even if there's a car on his outside, he kind of just shoves him out of the way. And then the one that hit me there and the S's. But other than that, I've had no issue. So who knows what could have happened if we were in a lower split with LMPs and they're less patient and run us over.
Yeah, I guess that's a really good point to bring up is that for folks who may be watching that don't know, the splits, so obviously, clearly, not everybody can. Oh my gosh, hold on. the splits are determined by class, right? So obviously, if you got 6,000, 7,000 people, signing up for a race at the same time, not everybody's going to get in on the same track at the same time. That seems obvious, but when you think about it logistically, okay, so then what does iRacing do? Well, they're going to take the number of drivers based on your I rating for whichever class you're in, and kind of there's the first split, which is all the top I rating folks from all of the categories, and then it kind of filters down from there. And so at some point, though, there's kind of there's not an equal amount of drivers for every single class. So you may end up where there's just more GTE drivers. So we're going to have a higher I rating for the GTE drivers versus the LMP drivers who are going to be, on average, just a lower I rating. And not that necessarily means that they're worse, but in general, you would expect higher I rating to be a higher quality racing. So that's kind of where the situation I think we found ourselves in is just being in that potentially higher split after the whole shenanigans from iRacing earlier potentially may have been a blessing in disguise, but I guess time will tell. It does seem like, to your point, that most of the drivers have been pretty good and respectful, minus a couple examples. And if it makes you feel any better, I don't know, a timestamp for you, but the 159 car did beach himself on the curb and head to toe. So
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was what the first hairpin.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that. Yeah.
It was.
I mean, he wasn't the one that hit me, but it's still like, I don't know, 6-7 laps later, I saw that and I laughed. But
little break in the monotony there.
Gotta love it. Awesome, man. Well, hey, tell you what. Any final thoughts on the stint that you just ran? I know. So you and Jeff, just generally speaking, you and Jeff are going to be kind of split in the first part of the race, and then kind of hand it off to Antonio and Steven to kind of do this little bit throughout the night. I'll be a little bit of a reset button, and then you'll kind of finish it out for us. But any I guess my question is, going into it, you've done this before multiple times. The plan, the strategy that we had going in versus what you saw out there, are you happy with where we're at? Are you, did anything pop up where you're like, holy cow? Just crawl into the mind of somebody who's seen this before. Is this pretty standard? Just kind of asking those types of questions for anybody who just doesn't have that type of experience who may be watching right now.
I'm happy with where we're at. We're P5 currently, so when I was out there on track, I was running equal pace with what P3 was. When I first pit, it was probably about 10 laps before I pit the first time, and about basically the whole entire second stint. Him and I were about 2 seconds apart from each other. I think 15 laps to go in my second stint, he spun out in the bus stop. But him and I are very equal on speed. So if there's an issue that happens with him, if he spins out 1 or 2 more times and maybe hits the wall, collects a little bit of damage, we are a P3 car out there on track. The 555, who's ahead of us currently, they're only about 19 seconds ahead of us. I know I can beat them. Jeffrey is very, very similar speed with me, so I know he can probably beat them too. So if we go out there and just run decent times, we're looking good for a top 4 and a potential podium. I'm not too sure about the top 2 guys. I have not seen them out on track. I haven't been lapped by them. They've always been on the other side of the track, so I haven't even seen their lap times. But currently, I think we're sitting in a really good position to end this race if we can just keep it out of trouble.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, it's kind of like that little hiccup that you had with the LMP car that could have went south quick. So if that happens for one of the top guys, I mean, we're sitting right there.
Exactly. So, like, we're only 2.5 minutes out from the lead, so anything can happen. And 19 and a half hours left. 2.5 minutes is not much. So,
Nah.
All right, very good. I appreciate the insight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the night plays out. I think it's kind of going to be like Christmas morning when my alarm goes off, and seeing, kind of where we're at as a team, and I'm looking forward to my stint. But I think for the time being, I'm just gonna leave this up. If you guys want to chat about it and do that, I'll just mute my microphone. I need to go make dinner for the family, but if not, we'll just, it'll be up and people can watch for a little bit longer. I'll probably turn it off just a little bit later. But congratulations on a nice stint there, Jared, and you got a couple more to go.
yeah, only 4 more, so I'm happy with it. But
Very good. All right. Well, I'm gonna peace out. I'll leave it up if you guys want to chat. If not, that's fine too. We'll just have fun.
I'm going to step out for a moment too, but I've got to say shout out to my dad if he is watching. So anyways.
Hello, Levi's dad.
Thanks for having me on here, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will message you on the backside to see if we want to try to get together and do a little update or something.
That sounds good.
yeah, I'm gonna hop out too, so there's not gonna be anyone here.
Okay.
But
Well, then
Yeah.
never mind. We'll put a strategic pause on the broadcast, and yeah, I guess not that I need subscriptions or anything like that, but if you do, you'll get a notification if we come back on, and I don't monetize the channels or anything like that. So, but there you go. Get the alerts. We'll jump back on for an update. I'm sure either later tonight or tomorrow morning, and we'll definitely watch the end of the race all together. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris, and Jared, good job, man.
Thank you. Thanks for broadcasting.
We'll see you guys later.